Alright, so Matthew 13, 44, 45, and 46. Because I must have misplaced something, because the pearl of great price does not have to do with the giver, it has to do with the ruler. So, I want to toss something out here. This one has to do with the giver. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys the field, so that he can own the field, so that he can steward the treasure. Now, next bit. The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Now, when you think about pearls, we've talked about the irritations that oysters are caused, and they create this really beautiful thing that gets finely polished and is greatly prized. Think about what the ruler is designed to do. They are designed to walk in, when you think of a pearl, you think of something that is pure and glorious, and there's a definite sanctity to it. There's a different purity to a pearl that is often not accorded to other gemstones or other gems. The ruler is designed to walk in a purity and a righteousness, not as we esteem or view righteousness, or how we define it according to our carnal, soulish views, but as to how God views righteousness. There is a righteousness the ruler is supposed to walk in. There's a righteousness we are designed to walk in hunting for not just the kingdom, but the best of the kingdom. Not just what we're used to seeing as far as the manifestations of the Lord, but how we weave together manifestations of what He does with the principles that we weave together to produce the best system of the kingdom. The thing He has input over just the mere things that seem good at the time, because the good is the eternal enemy of the best. See, it's not just, I got this pearl, and it's great, I'm going to string a necklace together. So it's like, find the best. Find the place of righteousness. Adonai Tzidkenu, which is the Lord our righteousness. It's about pegging out and walking in the manifestation of righteousness that He has for us, and hunting for the best of all that He has. Because you can hunt for good stuff, but there's a difference between hunting for good and hunting for best.
May I?
You may. Go ahead.
So two things. One, we had been talking about the putting on a robe, and putting on the righteousness is definitely another thing, like we talked about this morning, about putting on.
Mm-hmm.
So putting on His righteousness. So that was awesome. Clicked right in with this morning. That you and I discussed, but also for the kids. Oftentimes what we'll hear out of you is what's wrong with it. Okay? So you're on the edge of making a poor decision or not a best decision, and we hear what's wrong with it. The question you should be asking is what's right with it, or what's best with it. Because He's right. The good is often, so many people settle for, this is good, but it's not what's best. And go further, it's, if God has the best for you, settling for what's good is settling for what's not God. It's, so God is often in the best choice, which is a little more effort. It's a little, you've got to make more effort to find it. You might have to make more effort to uncover it. You might have to make more effort to attain it or unpack it out of you. And so we are lazy when we pick what's good instead of what's best. And it's something we need to be ever vigilant for. And it's another trap of the enemy. It's like living at 10% when He wants us to live at 100%. We might be doing 10% better than the people around us, but that's not where He wants us.
He doesn't want us better than the grand national average and measuring us according to other people. He wants us to measure us according to Himself.
Yeah. So it's just really something to keep in mind in your walk with God. So, good point. Thank you.
See, it's not just about having the pearl. It's about having the pearl of great price, which means it costs you something. costs you something in character. It costs you something in execution. It costs you something in synchronization. It costs you something. It actually, do you have the capacity to give of yourself in a cause? Or are you just going to give stuff that isn't you? You know, say, how much do I have to pay? How much a month? And how long is the lease? How much is it going to cost me? How much am I going to have to actually physically put in? Not do I have the credit score, but do I have the goods to produce in order to exchange for this thing that cost me much?
Plus, there's a skin in the game kind of concept there as well, and a you know, what is your investment in it? So.
Yeah, it's not about just merely about did you invest other people's stuff in it. It's did you invest your stuff in it?
Right.
Is it costing you something? Pearl of great price, which means it cost this man something in order to buy it. And he was a marketer already in search of fine pearls. So every pearl that he found was fine. Every pearl that he hunted for was fine. And this one is just like that cut above. Like, wow. This one outshone all the others. So, it is something that we need to walk in. And the previous one, the hidden treasure, verse 44. The man found and covered it up because he didn't own it. It wasn't his to steward until he purchased the field that treasure was in. He has another motivation for buying the field. It's not because of what can be seen, it's about what can be unseen. So that he can steward it effectively and multiply it.
Another aspect of this.
Go ahead.
For whatever reason, he was digging in somebody else's field. So he found it in somebody else's field. And instead of stealing it, he put it back and then bought the field. So he actually acted with integrity. You know? He might have, I'm sure he was tempted. Probably looked around. Does anybody see me? What's going on? Can I get away with this?
Wouldn't it have better for him to like tell the owner of the field?
No, he wanted to buy it. The purpose is not whether or not he told. The purpose is not. You're looking at it from.
Get your clothes out of your mouth.
You're looking at it from mercy. I'm just going to blab everything. This giver is looking at it from the perspective of this is valuable. I'm going to marshal all of my resources and I'm going to buy the field. So he engaged in a legal, ethical transaction because he valued it more than the previous owner. And he was willing to pay top dollar for that piece of property.
And if the owner had known that it was there, or maybe even the owner was being a poor steward because obviously he didn't look to see what his resources were. If he was willing to sell the field and not realize there was a treasure there, you know, so that's really not the buyer's responsibility to tell the owner that he was not stewarding his property well. Now, why he had the right to look in his field, that I don't know. There was probably something else going on there, but it doesn't say he was doing anything wrong while he was doing it. But it did say he did act with integrity. He bought the field.
Hidden treasures. It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings, the glory of kings to search it out. Now, here's the other dynamic. He's not concerned with Jesus was not concerned with telling you why did the person go talk to the owner of the field. His concern is to communicate what? What is it?
Going to buy it.
No. What was Jesus mainly concerned with communicating?
That you don't just steal stuff. You have to have integrity and.
No. Jesus was not. It was not about the. Okay, you're missing the question that I was asking. So I'm just going to spell it out for you. Right here, he was not communicating why didn't the person do this. He was communicating the kingdom. He's talking about people that are flowing in the sweet spot of their design, walking in their birthright, and weaving together the best of their birthright to receive the greatest reward possible. So Jesus was not concerned with why didn't the person tell the owner about the treasure in his field. You might. It's probably your design. I'd be one if I found a treasure in somebody else's field. Yeah, I'll pay top dollar. Okay, sold. I'd like to buy your land for thus and so. That's it. This is my offer. See my agent. But what is he extending? He's talking about the kingdom here. What value can you put on unpacking your design in order to build the kingdom? Because the kingdom is all about building. Take it out of the natural and all of the questions of why aren't we going and asking the parable, and look at the point that Yeshua is driving home. What do we know about the kingdom? The kingdom is masculine. The kingdom is all about building. The kingdom is about having tools with which to build. The kingdom is, he found the pearl of great value. And his priorities switched. Because what does Matthew 6:33 say earlier? Same gospel, same author, same stewardship mindset, same giver mindset. Seek first the
kingdom.
All of these parables are illustrations about seeking the kingdom, expanding the kingdom, and building the kingdom, which involves a couple of dynamics. 1, finding what your design is. 2, unpacking the design. 3, executing on your design. If you're not doing those things, then you're settling. Give you an example. If I belong to a school that says we're going to teach you how to do thus and so with the musical gift, but in order to have the musical gift, you have to first actually have some talent or skill or already have been trained in that. Which means if you're not able to unpack your gift, you need to go to a place where you can unpack your gift, because it's kind of counterproductive to not. Same thing with art, same thing with engineering, same thing with whatever. If you know you're designed to do something, then you find where you need to go to unpack what you're designed to do so that you can do it. Most effectively. Maximize the effectiveness, maximize the tools you have on hand. You are the children of tax-paying citizens of York County, South Carolina. Are you availing yourself of all of the resources that you currently have access to? Does that make sense? My job is to show you those things and say, hey, have you considered this, 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 and this? And each of you have things that you have not discovered about yourself and that are currently lying dormant. Or you've shut down. Because you have a faulty perception about what should be. Or what you think is responsible for them. And each of you needs to repent and own those things yourself and not shift the blame to other people. Go back to the drawing board and, okay, how can I unpack this?
Yeah, and unpacking isn't easy. It's intentional. It's Lily practicing, like if she's working on drawing, it's practice. Okay, I have trouble making eyes that are symmetrical. Then you practice, and sometimes you take out a ruler and you measure 3 inches here and 3 inches here, and you practice, and one day your eyes are amazing.
Or breast symmetrical, or eyebrow symmetrical, or ears symmetrical, or whatever.
Or a joint in the hand, or whatever, but it's a practice thing. The great pianists and violinists and musicians of the world have spent hours and hours and hours and hours practicing. It's even if you've got the musical gene, it doesn't spring into life with no effort. Everything that we have that's worthwhile is an effort, practicing skills, doing sit-ups and push-ups, doing running, studying for a test, or working diligently on practicing handwriting so it looks decent on a page. Whatever is ours to do is going to involve work.
Yeah, if you're designed to do cross country, and the Lord is telling you you're designed to do cross country, and you say, and you resist and reject because 20 to 50 miles, you're missing the point. You're not doing what your design is. You're walking outside of it. Or music, and you choose to reject it because you think you've been shamed about this, that, and the other. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Of things that you shut down because you're using your natural brain instead of listening to the Spirit of God and unpacking it and going through some pain and embracing some pain in order to get there. And growing some balls or growing some ovaries in order to get there. Man up, woman up, cowboy up, cowgirl up. So, these are some points to think about and ponder deeply, and this is a challenge. For y'all online, the same thing matters, the same thing applies. What are you not unpacking that He has given you to unpack because, it's going to cost you too much, it's too painful, no, it's not too painful. You do your job, you embrace the pain, you move into high positive numbers, and you execute and weave together the principles. It's not just about Jesus waving His magic wand and saying, voila, now it's manifested. This is not how healthy kingdom living operates. Healthy kingdom living operates when we partner with Him. He does His part, we do our part, and things get woven together in something beautiful so that the airplane can leave the ground and do its job. Bless you to consider this, ponder this, and to pursue this.